I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a gripping thriller packed with suspense, danger, and unexpected twists. 341 is written by Robert Richardson, and it tells the story of a kidnapping gone wrong, where three girls are taken instead of one of whom happens to be a U.S. Senator's daughter. With a comedian caught in the crossfire, a protective force standing against the odds, and a thirst for revenge fueling the chase, this novel will keep you on the edge of your seat. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his riveting book. The links are below the interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Robert, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
For the privilege of being with you.
It's a privilege to have you on the show, sir. I understand this novel was a long time coming. It grew out of a grade school assignment in 7th grade or something like that. Tell us the backstory.
That's correct. We had an assignment in English composition class where I was in 7th grade, where we had one class period to write a short story. Uh, I wrote this story, but the class period wasn't long enough. So I asked permission for the teacher to stay over my lunch period. I wrote some more, and this is what became of it.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Give us a little peek into the chaos that unfolds in 341.
341 is a story about, as you mentioned before, a young lady that was supposed to be kidnapped. I don't want to ruin the story because there's a twist to it at the end, but uh, they take three girls because they were going to the same school, and they take three girls, and uh, the excitement that happens around what do we do with three now when we only plan for one. And then conversations, they find out that one's a U.S. Senator's daughter, and now they're going, oh, wow, what do we really do now? Because this was never in the plan.
Mhm.
So they come up with their own plan on the spot, and it basically turns and twists 10 different ways at that point.
Amazing, amazing. Now, the premise involves a comedian who's forced into a kidnapping. Tell us a little bit about that angle.
Thomas Kline is the comedian's name. He's on stage, and he had to borrow money to keep his career going. And he borrowed it from a mafia individual. Well, this mafia individual is the one that's actually directing this kidnapping and sends in two muscle people, I guess you'd call them. And they come in and they force him to hold a position. And Thomas Kline uses makeup in his act of his comedy. So throughout the book, he keeps changing faces.
Hmm.
So they actually think there's more people involved in the kidnapping than there really is. And it's quite interesting how each of them are used in that situation.
Very, very cool. What a great premise. What a great idea. Did your time in the Army influence your storytelling at all?
The army pretty much took a hiatus because I was just really too busy going places to do any real writing. But writing was always been a love of mine. I've actually written stuff since I was about, I'd say about 6 years old, 7 years old. I really started writing just little nothings. And then when I came out of the army, I developed PTSD
Mhm.
through my military career, and I found that writing is one of the best therapies there is because you get into your like what you would refer to as an imaginary world. So you forget your problems, you forget your issues, and you can write about what's bothering you. It's writing is wonderful for any veterans out there. I encourage you highly just to sit down and write, even if you write nonsensical stuff. It's good for your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great place to be in that world that you're creating when you're writing. I think it's an excellent idea and excellent work, of course, on your part. Folks at home are probably wondering, why is the book called 341? So I'll ask you, why is the book called 341?
Explaining they were supposed to take one girl, but they were going to school that particular day. Their arms are connected and they're having fun going to school. And the individual that took them didn't take the time to determine which one he was supposed to grab. And by the way, he doesn't know which one the target is.
Hmm.
So he just grabs all three of them. And it turns out the one, as I mentioned before, is a U.S. Senator's daughter. But one of the young ladies they take is also a blind lady.
Hmm.
And there's incidents that happen around sort of comical things around her being blind, and the individual that took them is not being exactly the smartest person in the world, and sort of the crossover of them having incidences over that taking place.
Yeah.
So instead of taking one, they take three, four, one.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Let me ask you this. Have you envisioned this as a film?
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, when it was originally written, the English teacher, the English composition teacher, Mrs. Britton, several years ago, said this actually make a pretty decent movie. And then the first editor I had said you have to find a screenwriter for this. So I've been in the process of looking around, but I'm more interested in getting this published right now, right at this moment.
Exactly. Get the work out there. You never know whose hands it's going to wind up in. If somebody connected in Hollywood loves it, reads it, maybe they'll find the screenwriter for you. So you've done the groundwork. Getting the book out there is so important. Tell us about another impressive work you've worked on, which is a short story named Potatoes, and how it led to your involvement in the Veterans Creative Arts Festival.
Okay, the Creative Arts Festival is an organization that's done nationwide. It's for veterans, and there's a host of things you can do. You can dance, sing, do jewelry, crafts, things like that. And it's a competition nationwide that encourages veterans to get involved in things like this.
Hmm.
The Veterans Arts Center, the Veterans Hospital here in Grand Junction, Colorado, holds classes to teach us to do more things like this. I wrote the short story Potatoes, and Potatoes is nothing more than a joke I heard when I was really young, and I put it to a script basically. And it's about three girls that break out of prison, and one's a blonde, one's a redhead, and one's dark hair, and they hide in a barn, and they're found different ways. And the way the blonde is found, she's hidden behind a sack of potatoes.
Mhm.
And when they go to find her, the first one says, I hear a noise. It's a cat. They make a cat sound. The second one they find, she makes a noise of a dog. And they go, oh, that's only a dog hiding back there. Then they go to the sack of potatoes and find the third girl. And her response is, potatoes.
Mhm.
And it's supposed to be a joke. It's much funnier. I'm nervous right now.
It was good. It was good. A little delayed on me, but I got it. Very good. Very funny. Excellent. Excellent. Are you thinking about a sequel to 341?
In the process.
It's in the process.
It's in the process of very early process. Right now, I'm working on a second book called Three Down. It is completed, and I'm waiting to find a way to publish that right now. Also,
And what is Three Down about?
Three Down is a much more action adventure. Actually, it's about four girls that are attending college, and they have a man that controls them, and they're sort of running a high level prostitution ring.
Hmm.
What they do is they find a rich married man, they con him into having sex with them, and then they videotape them and blackmail them. Well, the book starts out with the murder of one of the girls, in which found the wrong guy, and he gets payback.
Wonderful.
And one by one, he kills them off. Later in the book, the one girl that's left behind makes a statement. There's three down, one to go.
Hmm.
Thus the title of the book, Three Down. And then it's the different action adventure of what happens is a court case. There's a mystery, a whodunit, and I actually loved writing it as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That sounds like another thrilling book that is ready to be turned into a film. And you've really got a cinematic way of writing with your storylines and with your descriptions and with your settings. I think it's just terrific. The book we've been focusing primarily on today is called 341. It's written by Robert Richardson. It tells the story of a kidnapping gone wrong, where three girls are taken instead of one of whom happens to be a U.S. Senator's daughter. It's an amazing story, lots of unexpected twists and turns. It'll keep you riveted. It'll keep you turning those pages. Robert, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
It was my privilege to be with you. Thank you.
Real privilege and honor to have you on the show. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.